been about 2 years since I lost my son, Johnny, to a street racing. Unfortunately, I'm reminded of Johnny's accident every day because we have to drive this particular section of the freeway twice a day. To this day, you can still see where Johnny's car made impact with the concrete barriers. I just wish that no other family will ever have to endure what my family has.
AJ and I were best of friends. We were always together. We both loved driving very fast. We were always going at least over 90 to 100 miles per hour on the freeway. I thought it was cool to teach AJ things about cars. I taught him in small steps and explained to him when to gas it, when to brake. We felt like we knew what we were doing. We were invincible. When I heard the news that AJ had been in a crash and died, I really broke down. When I realized I lost my best friend, it hit me very hard. I had to come to terms with the part that I played into all of this. There was a time that I did blame myself for his death. I felt some type of guilt. I taught him how to do donuts and things like driving very fast. Since AJ's death, I completely stopped driving recklessly. When it comes to reckless driving, what people do need to know is not worth your life or anybody else's. I learned that the hard way.
Well, Avery, I'm glad you're here to talk about this, and I'm glad you've made the decision to stop. That's the important thing here. The thing you can do to continue to be his best friend is to be a good example of what not to do at this point. And I hope you don't spend your life beating yourself up over a bad choice that he made.
I did blame myself for a short time, but of course, like you said, he had his own decisions. And he was the type of person to make his own decisions and not be influenced just by anything I would say. So, no, I most definitely dealt with those issues.
And, speak up on it when you get a chance to, like you're doing today. So thank you for doing that.
Most definitely,
I'm glad
thank
that
you.
you're not doing what you're doing.
Thank
you. And, you've said it, if you didn't stop, you could have killed yourself or somebody else. And so,
most definitely.
That's the important thing. But, Brent, you and Nash think you do this differently, and so this doesn't apply to you. You're invincible to this, I guess. Nash, what do you think?
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily invincible, but I always try to assess the risks as best as I can. I try to keep other people out of it as much as possible to the point where I feel like I'm the only one putting myself at risk. I understand the risk. I understand the danger that I could very well slip up and, not be here anymore. And that's very hard to kind of talk about and say, but it's the truth of it. I mean, there is a innate risk to it, just like everything else.
But what's the risk-reward ratio for you? Because you're too valuable to put yourself at risk. Like, as your dad said, it doesn't have to come down to your skill, or it's the roads, it's the uncontrolled variables. It's just not worth it.
Can I say something,
Yes.
Dr. Phil? It's not a controlled environment. You're on the freeway. You're on the main roads where other people have the right to be. And you're putting other people at risk. When I got to the accident scene and I found out that my son had passed away, I also found out that there were no other cars involved. And in that moment, I thanked God. I thanked God that my son, Johnny, went home to heaven with clean hands, that he didn't go home as a murderer. And you need to have the conversation with yourself, and you need to have the conversation with your son and ask yourselves, is this a legacy that I want to leave behind? Can I live with myself if I caused someone else to die because I wanted to have a good time? It's not worth it. It's reckless. It's reckless driving, and it's reckless thinking.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.